Hello and welcome back to the Sports Lab podcast. Here today with my buddy Alex Miley, episode number 19 today, buddy. We have a really packed show today, so we're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to recap that Rams-Vikings game that took place last night, preview the rest of Week 8 in the NFL slate, and then we'll talk some college football, which is in Week 9, and then we'll wrap it up with some Sabres talk and an MLB World Series Game 1 preview, which starts pretty soon. I'm sure, Alex, you're pretty excited about that, being that you are a Yankees fan. Yes, sir.
Got my shirt on. I'll be
Yankees
putting
ready
the
to
game on
go.
as soon as it starts.
Of
Ready for
course.
this Garrett Cole shove.
I'm sure you hope so.
I
We'll
know
start
so.
with the recap from last night. The Rams and the Vikings battled it out in SoFi Stadium. The Rams coming away with a 30-20 win after the safety, which caused a lot of controversy, to say the least. Obviously, that safety ends up making it a two-score game. It would have been just 28-20 had that not been the case. So, Alex, what are your thoughts on this game, and did you think the right team won in the end?
I do think the right team won, but if I'm a Vikings fan, I'd be pissed, obviously, because the Rams don't have a good secondary. Justin Jefferson was cooking them all game. So on that final drive, say that face mask gets called, it's now you have like a 1st and 10 from the 20, like a minute 40. You have plenty of time to just throw it to Justin Jefferson a bunch of times, and it's probably going to work out in your favor because he is just that good. But at the same time, Sam Darnold did not look good in the second half. Losing Christian Darrisaw really hurt that offensive line. He is now out for the rest of the year with he has season-ending surgery, so that is going to kill them because he is one of the best left tackles in the league. And David Quessenberry is like an all right depth piece, but the fact that he has to be starting the rest of the year is not. I'd not be happy if I was a Vikings fan. So yes, so obviously Sam Darnold, Justin Jefferson connections looking just as good. TJ Hawkinson coming back should hopefully help a little bit, but at the end of the day, I still don't understand why there was ever Cooper Kupp trade talks. It was everyone. The only reason the Rams started out 1-4 is because everyone was injured. He was without his entire Stafford was out his entire offensive line and his top 2 receivers.
Like Avila and Jackson could be back next week because they have 10 days off.
Exactly. They finally got Havenstein back. They finally got Dotson back. Noteboom could be coming back soon, and Avila and Jackson. Like they're finally going to have their offensive line back, which when healthy is a top 10 unit in football. Sean McVay is top 3 play caller in football, top 3 offensive schemer in football. Kyron Williams is really asserting himself as one of the better backs in the NFL. And then Puka and Cooper Kupp is one of the best wide receiver duos. They're not just slot merchants like people think they are. They can bowl. Like you saw, Puka was playing mostly on the outside, and he was absolutely cooking Stephon Gilmore. He was cooking that secondary the entire game. And then Kupp, obviously, coming back from the ankle injury, didn't have his greatest game, but he still had 52 yards and a touchdown. So still very good game by him. And Matthew Stafford proved why he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I had him as the 6th best quarterback going into the season, and that's probably still about where I'd put him, is like 6, maybe 7, right in that range. I still think he is an absolute stud, absolute beast, absolute gunslinger. He is just electric with the ball in his hands. He can make any throw, and he has a little bit of athleticism to him. You saw he broke out of that sack and hit Cooper Kupp for the touchdown. I mean, he was just cooking this entire game. I think what it comes down to is when you don't have talent, you can only coach up the lack of talent for so long before teams start to figure it out. And I think that's what's happening to this Vikings defense. Brian Flores is still absolutely elite, but the defense just doesn't have a lot of talent. Andrew Van Ginkel, Jonathan Grenard, both of them have been absolute beasts. And Stephon Gilmore's been a decent cornerback, but and Harrison Smith's always there. But outside of that, they don't, and maybe I guess Ivan Pace, but they don't really have a lot of depth. They have a couple of good guys, but Flores has really coached his defense up. But you saw last week against the Lions, the Lions were able to figure it out and absolutely cook that defense because Flores was blitzing too much. So in this game, he cut back on the blitz, and then Stafford was just cooking the secondary because he had time to throw it, and he has great receivers now that they're finally healthy. And then on the Rams side of football, I mean, that pass rush is kind of what's keeping them in games. Their defense overall is not that good, but with an elite offense, all they really need is to have a good pass rush because they're going to be forcing teams to throw the ball because they're going to be able to put up a lot of points. And that's basically what happened, is that they got the Vikings into a pass situation and they let the pass rush with Kobe Turner and Jared Verse cook, and they did a very good job. So overall, a great win. I still have the Rams making the playoffs. They were a prediction going into the season. I think with this big win, I think they're definitely on track now because their schedule does ease up a little bit. They played a lot of their tougher teams early on. So I think they really can go on a run to make the playoffs. So kudos to the Rams.
Yeah, I agree with most of what you said there. I feel like this team was due for a win. They've been dealing with a lot of issues with the injury bug. And right there in the pregame, when they were talking to Kyron Williams on the sideline, and he had so much swagger to him, so much just like, oh, we'll get it done. We know how, like, we know who we are. That was the exact moment I had a feeling the Rams were going to win this football game. They came out and they showed their best foot. They put their best foot forward. Puka Nacua got involved early, was opening up the passing game for guys like Robinson, who caught a touchdown pass in this game. Even Colby Parkinson, the tight end, was doing very good as well. They were finding ways to eat them alive. And the one thing that these Vikings don't have is that really good defensive, like end or D tackle pass rush, or a secondary piece that's truly elite, like a cornerback or even a safety. Yes, they have Harrison Smith, but we all know it. He's past his prime at this point, so it's unfortunate for them. But Brian Flores did not do bad in this game. They had a very good game nonetheless. Of course, that face mask call was very atrocious at the end. I think, in my own personal opinion, that the Rams would have probably double-teamed, if not, like, just completely sidelined Justin Jefferson. I think they would have won this game regardless. I think this was a very good game between two of the best teams in the league, especially on the NFC side. And if you're a Rams fan, this week could not have gone any better for you. Obviously, you don't wish for injuries and stuff, but Godwin and Evans both down for the Buccaneers, who at the end of the season could be two of those teams that are in the wild card race as well with you guys. And then on top of that, your schedule starts to ease up, so you're going to get back into this race just like a team like Cincinnati has back in the AFC. So I really do like what the Rams have going on and moving forward. I think they'll be very good. Obviously, a tough one for the Vikings to lose, having lost 2 games in the last 5 days, but they do get the Colts and Jags next, so hopefully they can get wins in those games and keep their season alive.
Here's the Rams schedule the rest of the way. They have the Seahawks next week, which they just beat the Vikings. They can beat them.
They own the Seahawks.
The Dolphins with Tua, that could be a good game, but I still think the Rams could win. Then they have the Patriots, free win. Eagles, that gets tough. Then they have the Saints, free win. Bills, probably going to lose that. Well, hopefully going to lose that game. Then the Niners, they already beat them once. They could beat them again with especially.
They have McCaffrey back,
but they're at least without Ayuk, and who knows? They've been dealing with so many injuries. Who knows what injuries they're dealing with by then? Then they have the Jets, who are a dumpster fire this year. Then they have the Cardinals, and then they have the Seahawks again. Like, not a lot of like stud teams out there. There's a bunch of decent teams, but if they want to make the playoffs, they're all winnable games. Exactly. It's not like I 6 to 8 more wins. It's not like they're facing like the Lions, the Chiefs, and the Ravens.
Right. Yeah. They're not playing difficult teams near the end. I think they'll be right there in the thick of things. And obviously losing Godwin and Evans for these next few weeks is going to hurt the Bucs. And you have the tiebreaker over the Vikings, who if they're in the wild card race too, you have that tiebreaker over them now as well, which is very nice to have for those end of season pushes. Obviously, I can't believe it, but we're almost halfway through the NFL season. This is week 8. So we're going to kick it into the 1 p.m. slate. No early morning game this week, unfortunately, but I
want to be able to sleep in.
Yeah, right. But
it's Halloween weekend. I'm going to be up late.
For the 3rd straight week, for Sunday, we're going to start with the Jacksonville Jaguars game. They're taking on the Green Bay Packers. They're at home this week. They did get a much-needed win against New England last week, and the Packers with a close one over the Texans in what was one of the better games of the weekend. Alex, what are your thoughts on this game? Who do you think gets the win? Do the Packers come in and win, or does Jacksonville defend home turf?
Yeah, I think the Packers win this game, but I think the Jags can definitely keep this one close. I mean, T-Law has finally found his footing offensively. The run game's working better, and that connection with Brian Thomas Jr. is just getting better and better every single week. I really think that this offense will be able to put up some points, but at the end of the day, this Packers defense has been playing really good. And even though Tyson Campbell's coming back for this Jags defense, I don't really think it's going to affect things too much. I think they're going to be able to get the ground game going with Josh Jacobs, and then they're going to be able to hit the play action off of that. Matt LaFleur likes to run a lot of motion, and as you saw in the Bills games, as soon as any motion happens, the Jaguars defense doesn't know what's going on, gets completely confused and out of position, and people become wide open. And I think that's going to continue to happen because their coaching staff might be the worst in the league. There's a legitimate claim that the Jags have the worst coaching staff in the league. So I think that's what's going to kill them. A lot of Josh Jacobs early downs to keep them ahead of the chains, and then like motion and play action on third down, and things are just going to be open, and they're just going to be able to move the ball in this Jags defense. And ultimately, I think they're going to be able to come away with this win. I'll go 31-21 Packers.
Yeah, I will second that. I have the Green Bay Packers winning in this one as well. 31-17, though. Very close score predictions there, but I think this Jags team will be able to keep it close heading into halftime, but as soon as the Packers pull away, they're not going to be able to do their bread and butter, which is running the football and having Lawrence work off play action. They're going to start to fall behind and have to get into these early down passing situations, and it's going to cost them the game in the end. I think Lawrence makes a mistake probably on that back end. And for this Jacksonville defense, like you said, even though they get Tyson Campbell back, realistically, he can only cover one of the 4 really good options that the Packers have. So realistically, with that being said, they've been eaten alive by the tight ends as well this season so far, so expect another good game from Tucker Kraft. Romeo Doubs has turned it on as of late. Back-to-back games. I think there's been a lot of really good moments for this Packers receiving core, and I think they keep it going this week with a win against Jacksonville on the road in Jacksonville. So give me 31-17 Green Bay as we both predict that as our team to win for this game. Moving into the next one, a lot of different opinions on these games, but Dolphins, Cardinals, Tua finally back in the lineup at home in Hard Rock Stadium. The Dolphins looking to put together a complete performance for the first time since week 2, which was not even week 2, week 1. If you want to say
week 1 and week 2, they got their asses handed to them.
Yeah,
by none other than our Bills.
Yes, sir. But really, with week 1 being the only game they had a complete performance in, so this is a game for them that they have to come out and play good football. They're going up against a team in Arizona that's been really up and down as of late, winning last week on a last-second field goal, much like Green Bay, to win by 2, 17-15. Either way, though, this could be a good game, could not be a good game. Who do you have winning this one in the end?
Ultimately, I have the Dolphins winning this game because the way you can beat this you can really beat this Cardinals defense many different ways. I don't think their rush defense is that good, but it has gotten better, but their secondary is awful. And now with Tua back, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle should be able to cook this defense realistically. I mean, Herbert threw for 350 with Will Dissly as his best target. I think Tua's at home should be out. I'm saying Will Dissly the most yards. That's why in that game.
Okay, that's fair.
With Will Dissly being his best receiver in that game, the leading receiver. Vlad McConkey's obviously the best one, but still, he's a rookie slot guy who's decent but not great. He's not nowhere near the level of Tua or with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, who Tua has to throw to. And I think they should be able to cook this defense. And the Dolphins have had a pretty good secondary so far. I could see the Cardinals kind of keeping it in with the run game. But do you know what game just dropped today? Call of Duty. You know, Kyler's probably playing that all weekend long. He probably is not giving a shit about this game. He's too busy grinding remastered. So I just see him not having a great game. And I'll go with the Dolphins in convincing fashion, 27-13. I actually, now that I think about it, I'm going to sit Kyler in fantasy. I'm going to make that change right now before I forget.
I will also second this one. I have the Miami Dolphins winning at home. This is the Renaissance game for Tua, the game where he's finally returning to the lineup. I feel like the whole team's going to rally around him, and I think they're going to get the job done. I think it's going to be a very close game. These Cardinals have been a very pesky team, especially in these last few weeks. So give me 24-20 in favor of the Miami Dolphins. I think that this game is going to be a lot closer.
Kyler plays that good?
I don't think he plays that good. I just feel like Tua's going to struggle out of the gate. And it's going to lead to too many opportunities, and they're going to get a couple field goals or a touchdown or so. So I think it'll be a lot closer than people give it credit for. Expect Devon Achane to go off in this game too. I feel like even if he's not running the ball, they love to throw to him out of the backfield. So expect a big game from Achane as well. But give me the Miami Dolphins in this one to put the win in that left-hand column for their team and get them somewhat back in the race, if at all, with their season dwindling. So this is a must-win for them. Moving into the next game, a battle of AFC East teams, the New England Patriots at home against the New York Jets. Drake May, with his first career snaps against the Jets in that Thursday night football game, they lost 24-3 last time these two teams met. This time around, they're at home. Drake May is under the helm. He has looked very good. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets starting to fall apart after what looked like a pretty good first half from them last week. They completely crapped the bed. 37 points given up to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not the display you want to see from the New York Jets. This could mark the nail in the coffin for New York if they lose this game. So who do you have winning this one, Jets or Patriots?
Now, I want to say the Patriots, but I'm going to have to go with the Jets. Haason Reddick is coming back. That should help. Him and Will McDonald should be able to be a pretty decent pass rushing duo off the edge. I mean, McDonald's second in the league in sacks right now. You bring Haason over there, that should be pretty decent duo, but they're battling a lot of injuries. And as I've said, I still don't agree with the Robert Saleh firing. I think that he was the defensive engine behind this team. Even though they had a lot of talent, they had a lot of that talent before he was hired. And they didn't really do much with it. And then they hired him. Yeah, they also added some players like Sauce that year. But that defense turned from one of the worst to one of the best in one season. And I think a lot of it had to do with Saleh's scheme. I mean, maybe Albrecht's running a similar scheme, and I could be wrong. But I just think that I think Saleh was a big reason for why that defense is really good. I mean, you've seen these last two games. If it wasn't for a couple of stupid penalties killing drives, the Bills would have easily dropped 30 on the Jets. The Steelers dropped 37 on them. Like, this defense is not that good. They're dealing with injuries. And I could see Drake May putting together, like, just one of those upset masterclass, like, lead them on a drive to win the game. But at the end of the day, he does have the rest of that offense around him. And this offensive line is the worst in the league. And now Haason Reddick's back. Again, Will McDonald off one end, Haason off the other. He's going to be running for his life, throwing to nobody because every receiver basically sucks. Sorry. But ultimately, I'm going to go with the Jets. I mean, this Patriots defense is also pretty bad, so I think the Jets will get a little bit back on track. I'm going to go with the Jets winning this 27-20.
Ooh, very close scores this time. I have the Jets winning 28-21, and I'm not even joking by literally
That's funny.
The same score, just one up. But I think that this is going to be a very good game. The Patriots haven't looked that great on offense, yes, but at the same time, the Jets defense has looked pretty bad as well. Drake May has been that big-armed quarterback that he was advertised to be. And I understand they don't have that many great options, but Kayshon Boutte has looked pretty good, the rookie out of LSU. So it's been a nice, solid sophomore. You're right.
Second or third? No, I think it is second, yeah.
Yeah. He was like 7th or 6th round pick, something like that last year.
Yeah, he was projected to be a first-round pick and then had an awful season and then dropped.
Yeah, I know.
And then, yeah.
But see, exactly. I mean, I feel like he could maybe develop into something at least decent. These guys, these younger players are starting to develop those relationships. Obviously, Demario Douglas isn't too good, but he's looked solid. And then Hunter Henry is coming to his own as well in the middle, which it seems like the Jets are starting to find a way to struggle with even the tight ends, as Pat Freiermuth had a decent game last week as well. So I do think that this is a lot closer than a lot of people will give this game credit for. I think the Jets are starting to fall apart, and it's going to show in this game as well. But you're going up against another team that hasn't looked good in a few seasons in New England. They're starting to put it together, yes, with Drake May, but they have a lot of moving parts on that defense. I think it's going to show in this game, and I'm going to go with the New York Jets to win this one 28-21 on the road in New England and complete the season sweep of their rival from Boston, Massachusetts. So
from Boston.
Yeah, from Boston. I should have said that. Damn it. Now I'm mad. We got to replay this whole thing over again.
So I got to restart the entire pod.
Yeah, just restart the whole podcast just so I can do that. But moving on to our next game, we have another division battle. It is the Browns and the Ravens. No more Deshaun Watson for the Cleveland Browns, as many fans will say, thank God. But at the same time, a very devastating situation with him. Obviously, his surgery was successful earlier this afternoon, so prayers up to him, despite him being, what we know. But Jameis Winston getting his first career start as a Cleveland Brown. Will he win it? Or will the Ravens get the job done on the road in Cleveland? A division battle between two of the AFC North teams. We see these matchups every year, and they're normally close. Do the Browns keep it close, or do the Ravens run away with this?
I actually do think the Browns will keep this semi-close. Jameis will just chuck it all over the place, and this Ravens defense hasn't looked that great. Their linebackers haven't been able to cover anything this year. Roquan Smith has looked pretty bad. Trenton Simpson's looked bad.
The other linebacker is David Njoku.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I'm starting him in fantasy in one of my leagues. I think he'll be able to have a really good game because Jameis is just going to be chucking it a lot.
We had a good game last week, too.
Yeah. Exactly. While I don't love Nick Chubb this year because of coming off the injury, I think he will be better than last week. Last week was his first game. He was probably knocking off the rust. I think he'll be able to have a much better game. I think instead of averaging like 2 yards a carry, he'll probably be close to like 4 or 5, which should open up the pass game and the play action. I think Kevin Stefanski, now that he has an actual quarterback who can actually throw the ball, will be able to open up much more. I understand the receiving core is not that good, but Cedric Tillman's looked decent. Maybe Jerry Jeudy can get it back together. He was decent the first couple of weeks, but I think they'll be able to have enough juice, and their defense is good enough where I think the defense will also be a little like reinvigorated now that they don't have Deshaun Watson absolutely killing their offense. They might play a little bit harder. And I understand this Ravens offense looks completely unstoppable, and I think they will be able to put up some points. But I think that the Browns will get a garbage touchdown at the end of this game to make it close, and I'm going to give with the Ravens 27-20.
Yeah, I'm going to go 31-20 in this game. I think that a very similar thing what you just said with that touchdown at the end. I think that they get a garbage time touchdown on this one to make it closer. I think that this is going to be a game where you see Jameis Winston struggle. This is going to be his first game starting, but I don't think it's going to be a severely bad game for them. I think they'll do all right. It's just this team is primarily a run-first team, especially now that Nick Chubb's back into the fold. And the only thing that you can say that's really been decent for the Ravens this season, on defense at least, has been that rush defense compared to their pass defense, which has looked god-awful at times. I think this is one of those games where the Browns just don't match up too well against Baltimore. Baltimore's coming in on one of the hottest streak in the league right now. They've looked absolutely untouchable these last few weeks, and I have to keep riding with that momentum. Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson have looked absolutely phenomenal together. Lamar is right there in the top of the MVP race. Derrick Henry has, everybody captivated right now with how he's been playing, and I'm going to have to lean with the hot hand in this one. So I think that the Browns do somewhat keep this game close compared to what I would expect otherwise. If this was Watson 38-3 maybe,
that 38-7, 10, something like that.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think 31-13 would be where it's at in the fourth quarter, late touchdown, 31-20. So give me the Ravens to win this game. And next up, we have the Cincinnati Bengals at home to take on the Philadelphia Eagles. This game flexed back into the 1 p.m. window. Bears Commanders moved into the 4:25. Who do you have winning this game? It's Joe Burrow. It's Jalen Hurts, two of the better quarterbacks in the league, at least to some people. I think they're both overrated. Hot take, I guess, to some people. But at the same time, compared to what people put Joe Burrow, they put him in top 3. I think he's top 7, top 8, but top 3 is crazy. Oh,
all right. I had Joe Burrow as QB3 going into the season. I think I'd move him to 4 because of how Lamar's playing. But I mean, I think Joe Burrow is absolutely electric with the ball in his hands, and that's why I actually picked the Eagles.
I think Herbert's better.
I disagree with that. I have Herbert right below him at 5. I think it is close. I think that's a little bit too much hate on Joe Burrow. But at the end of the day, I think not having Burrow in your top 5, I think, is truly hating on him.
No,
that's just my opinion. You said fair. Top 7 or 8, which means you don't think he's in your top 5.
No, he's in my top 5. He's literally 5th for me.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's Mahomes, Allen, Jackson. Well, Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, and then Burrow and Herbert. Herbert, then Burrow, and then 6th is Stroud, 7th Stafford.
That's exactly what I have. But flip Burrow and Herbert.
Well, the thing is Herbert, look at Herbert last week specifically. He went nuts with nobody as weapons. If you give him Chase and Higgins, bro.
I understand. For me, I guess the thing about Herbert is the reason I'd put Burrow ahead of Herbert is Burrow's a little more clutch. Not just turnovers, it's just Burrow. Herbert has, I guess, turnovers, but Herbert has thrown a lot of fourth quarter interceptions opposed to Burrow, who seems to play his best football in the fourth quarter usually.
Yeah, that's fair.
I guess that's kind of where they're that close where it's all right, I'll just take. I don't always put clutch as a big important thing. It is.
But when it's that close, you kind of have to go to the clutch factor.
Exactly, and the fact that Burrow has won a lot more, I don't think wins. I don't even
think that's really his fault though. He's got one of the worst coaches ever.
No, I get it, but I'm just saying when there's that big of a gap and Burrow's that much more clutch, where it's I'll give him the edge. while I do understand, like I have Herbert there, then I'd have Stroud and Stafford flipped. I have Stroud. I think Stafford's actually better than Stroud, but
Well,
that's here nor there. That's
yeah,
here nor there. Back to the Eagles Bengals before we got in that little tangent. Earlier in the week, I thought the Eagles were going to win this game, and then I looked it over. I am going to go with the Bengals to win this game because I think the Bengals are playing a lot better. That Burrow-Chase connection has been absolutely lethal this year, and the Eagles, while their secondary and their defense is better than last year, they don't have, with Darius Slay is kind of washed and Quinion Mitchell is just a rookie. They don't have anyone that they can really put on Burrow to cover him. And with how good Higgins is, it's not like you can really double Chase that much. I meant Chase, not Burrow. But you can't really, you can't really double Chase because then Higgins will eat you alive. So I think that Chase is going to have an absolutely electric game. I think he goes for like 120 to like 130 yards and at least one touchdown. I think he goes absolutely berserk against this Eagles secondary. And then I think they'll be able to get the run game going slightly. I think Chase Brown's pretty electric, so he'll be able to pop off at least a couple of runs to keep them honest. Maybe his numbers won't look great, but I think he'll be able to at least have a couple decent runs where, again, it kind of keeps him from being able to just be white boxes the entire game. And then on the other side, I think Saquon is going to go insane. I think he's going to keep them in this game, but I agree. I think I used to love Jalen Hurts. I thought he was absolutely electric. I almost bought a Jalen Hurts jersey because I had him. I called the breakout. I had him in fantasy in literally every single one of my leagues that year. I drafted him. It was absolutely electric for me.
My buddy drafted Hurts and Samuel, and he won our league because of it.
So. Yeah, I was so high on Jalen Hurts that year. And then also the MMG. I don't know if you watch MMG, but the gold Jalen Hurts, the meme behind that, how he won a Super Bowl with him. So like I love Jalen Hurts, so I almost bought him a jersey, but ever since Shane Steichen's left, he has not looked the same. And you're right, I think he is overrated. I still would probably put him in the top half of quarterbacks in the league. I don't think he's 12, like that. 13. Yeah, it's somewhere in that range, probably maybe 10-ish.
I might put him at 10 or 11 now because Prescott in that range right there for me. I had Prescott over him, but Prescott looked like crap.
I'd have to do a QB quiz, like, because that's what I like to do is the QB quizzes. So I just pick who's better 1v1, and then it spits out the rankings for me.
Maybe we'll have to do that sometime on this channel. Who knows?
Yeah, it's how we did with the power rankings. It's the same app. Like they have a QB quiz one. I have like one I did. Maybe we'll do that in a couple weeks or something. Maybe next week. Like that's something we could plan. But I think I have Hurts somewhere in that range. And at the end of the day, I think both coaching staffs aren't that good. I think the Eagles are a little bit more talented, but I think the gap is just between quarterback is that big where I think Burrow will be able to lead them to victory and win this game in a shootout. I'll go 35-31 Bengals. I don't see much defense being played here at all.
I think that a lot of people have that similar outcome where, like this game is going to be an absolute shootout back and forth for the most of the part of this game. And typically these kinds of games normally end up being a little lower scoring than people expect. But I have to go with the Cincinnati Bengals. I've had a gut feeling about the Bengals these last couple weeks making this turnaround. I think last week, if anybody was having any doubts on the Bengals, last week was the week where they were shut down. Especially on that Bengals defense, they carried the workload for these last couple weeks. And if this offense can get back into its groove, we're going to see the Cincinnati Bengals of old. And I think this is the week that they do that against a really brutal secondary, if I will, on the Eagles right now. Quinion Mitchell's looked solid, but not going to be able to cover Jamar Chase. Darius Slay's starting to lose that step. The safeties haven't looked that great. Gardner Johnson's down, so I think this is one of those games that'll be back and forth. It'll be coming down right to the wire. But like you said, with Joe Burrow being that clutch quarterback, this is one of those games where that clutch gene's going to have to come in. I think they win this game late, 28-24. I have Cincinnati winning. These guys are starting to become a lot like the Ravens. Oh, yeah, there we go. They're starting to become a lot like the Ravens, man. And I feel like this Ravens
Austin Wells, that is Pookie. I love you.
Yeah, I can't. But with them Ravens, though, they've started to make this turnaround, and I think the Cincinnati Bengals are starting to find their groove as well. So give me the Bengals to win this one. I think it will be very close. I do think that the Cincinnati Bengals end up winning this one. Like I said in the last few weeks, and I feel like I've said this all season, but when it's really close, it comes down to quarterback, coaching, and then one last thing, which is who's at home. And the Bengals have all three advantages in that category, in my opinion, this week. So go ahead and give me the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say they have the advantage of coaching. I think both coaching staffs are bad. But
Zach
I guess
Taylor's a lot better than Nick Sirianni. Sirianni's the reason why this Eagles team is not one of the best in the league.
I would say
almost lost
better,
to
but not
Cleveland.
by a lot. I think it's close. I think Zach Taylor is a bad coach. I just think Nick Sirianni's worth. And then I'll give Lou Amarillo as a pretty good defensive coordinator. So I will give the edge to the Bengals, but I wouldn't say by a lot. I think Zach Taylor is not a good coach. I think he's gotten carried by the fact that he has Amarillo for defense and then Burrow and Chase for offense.
That's fair. But moving into this next piece here, we have another showdown between AFC division foes, this time being the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. From Houston, last game between these two teams, week 1 was absolutely fire, very, very close, right down to the end. Does this end up with the same result, and who wins this game, Stroud or Richardson?
I sure hope it happens similarly. I made the mistake of, because I didn't know Puka was playing, and I wasn't even thinking when I found out he was playing to switch. I started AR over Stafford in both of my 2 leagues that I have. I have the duo in both, and yeah,
that's tough. Yeah. 4 touchdowns last night.
Yep. So I need at least a formidable, because both the leagues I have Anthony Richardson, my roster's really, really good. So I should, as long as I can get 15, 20 points, I should be able to win my matchups in both those leagues. So that's kind of just all I'm hoping for, is at least decency. And I do expect it. I mean, he did pop off week 1 against them, and then he had a couple of bad weeks, and then he was cooking against the Steelers before he got injured. And then against the Dolphins, I think partly was no Jonathan Taylor, who is back this week. I think Trey Sermon and Tyrell Goodson are so much worse than them.
Oh my God, yeah.
And yeah, it's I get the Colts have a good offensive line, but they're just not good running backs. Jonathan Taylor is an absolute stud.
Am I sniffing an upset here, the way you're talking?
No, I'm picking the Texans in a very close game. I'll go 28-24, kind of similar to last time. I think Anthony Richardson has a really good game coming back. I do expect this game to be close. I was just saying I think the Colts offense will be able to perform with Jonathan Taylor back, and Richardson's so hot and cold. It's weird. He actually plays better against better defenses. Think about it. The Texans have had their defenses looked pretty good for the most part. The Steelers' defense has been electric. Those were his 2 best games of the year. Yeah, his stats didn't look good against the Steelers because he got injured, but he led them on 2 straight touchdown drives. It's the not as good defenses that he seems to struggle against, which is weird. But at the same time, he has played great defense after great defense. Texans, Packers, Bears, Steelers, then Texans again, and Dolphins, who have really good secondary. He hasn't had an easy matchup yet. So I do expect him to put it together and have a good game. I'm hoping maybe 150 passing, 50 rushing, and 2 touchdowns. That's enough for me. But I'm going to go with the Texans 28-24 because I just trust Stroud in this offense more against the awful Colts defense.
Yeah, I'm going to second that one more time. I do think this game's a lot closer than people will expect as well, especially with Jonathan Taylor coming back into the fold. You're going to be able to work through that offense the way they want to work through, which is a lot of read options and play actions. Shane Steichen special, really. And with Jonathan Taylor back in the fold, you finally have a competent running back to run the football. Sorry to Goodson and Sermon, but they're just not it.
Sorry.
In that backfield. They've not been good at all. Sermon had that one decent week against the Jags, but aside from that, they still haven't been that great. Taylor coming back into the fold, I think, will give them that juice, that boost that they really need. And I think this game's going to be really close. On top of that, Richardson struggled these last couple games against a pretty bad Miami Dolphins defense. If I will say,
their secondary is really good. They're number 1.
They didn't have Holland last week.
Yeah, but they are number 1 against the pass. They're statistically, they have a top 5 pass defense. Their run defense is bad, but with Goodson and Sermon running the ball, they were able to kind of contain them. If they had Jonathan Taylor, I think they would have won by a lot more. But anyways, continue.
But I do think that this Colts team is going to keep it close. This is a Houston Texans team that struggles with the Colts every single season, it feels like. I think it's going to be right there for both teams. It's just about which quarterback's going to come down and win this football game in the end, and I have to lean with C.J. Stroud in this one. While Richardson's looked good at times, it's like flipping a coin, man. You never know which Anthony Richardson you're going to get in this game, and especially at the end of this game, you never know. But I do have to go with my gut, which tells me the Houston Texans are going to win this one. Without Nico Collins, it's going to become a lot closer too. So I think this game is going to be right there for the taking for both sides. But I'm going to lean with Houston in this one, 24-21, as we still haven't disagreed on a pick, and I doubt we will with this next one. Lions versus Titans. This one feels inevitable for Tennessee. Whether they start Levis or Rudolph, who knows? But who do you have winning this game, if I even should ask this question?
Yeah, I mean the Bills just won 34-10. The Lions are better than the Bills.
And that's with us sucking in the first half.
Exactly. I haven't seen the Titans practice report. I don't know if like Snead or their other corners playing. Doesn't matter.
Supposed to come back. I doubt it matters.
It probably doesn't. Let's go with the Lions 38-13, I guess. I think I think the Bills do have a better defense than the Lions, if I'm being honest, especially without Hutch. So maybe even up to 17, they might be able to get a garbage touchdown. But I'll go 38-17 or 38-13. I see the Lions absolutely dominating. The one thing about this Titans defense is they're really good at stopping the run. You're not stopping this Lions rushing attack. I mean, with that offensive line and with that O-line and that run duo, I'm sorry, Jeffrey Simmons, they'll just double team you and everyone else will be able to handle their one-on-ones. And Monty and Sonic and Knuckles is going to cook you. And then even if you somehow slow that down, Amon St. Brown's going to cook you. Sam Laporta is going to cook you. Jared Goff has been playing absolutely insane lately. Yeah, this is going to be a blowout.
Yeah, I'm going to second that. 31-14, Lions smoke them in this game. I think it could definitely be worse. I feel like the Lions are going to really run the ball in the second half and just kind of control this game for the majority of it. They're not going to really worry too much. I think that it's not really – I think it's just Dan Campbell's style, if I have to say anything. I feel like these guys can blow out teams, as we saw with the Dallas Cowboys, but the reason why they blew out the Cowboys is their rushing attack was just completely killing them. I don't think they're going to be able to do that against the Titans.
All those trick plays.
Right, exactly. I don't think they're going to be able to do that as much against the Titans defense, which has been decent in the run defense. No, I'm saying like when you're running the ball out in the second half.
No, I was looking at the phone. Mookie Betts was giving a weird look in the national anthem. They had a close up, so I kind of gave a weird look back.
Oh,
Brad Paisley singing it, which is dope.
Oh, nice. But I do think that this game is going to be a big blowout for these Detroit Lions. They're at home too. If that wasn't if you had to add salt to the wound. So if you're the Titans, I wouldn't even spend the money to go to Detroit this week if you're a Titans fan. But you do you, I guess. We all got to stay loyal somehow.
It's not like Detroit's like vacation city. The only reason I went was because it was on Thanksgiving and the Bills were supposed to win, which they did. Even though Trey White came back just to sacrifice Von Miller's ACL that game. Like
that was the second time in a row, by the way. It was the second time in a row because then Von Miller came back, and that's when Milano got injured against the Jags.
Yeah. So and the funny thing is Trey White and Von Miller both.
So my only question now is when Milano comes back this time, who's getting injured in his place?
Let it be Casey Toohill.
Yo, please be some
Dorian Williams. Just DeMar, but not because he died this time.
Yeah, right.
Just like twisted an ankle or something.
Yeah.
Please not Bedford or Greg Rousseau or Terrell Bernard.
I
probably will be Bernard with how injury prone he is, though.
Yeah.
Bro can't stay healthy, unfortunately, which might cost him a lot of money.
Oh, my gosh. It's going to. But moving into the next game, another division rival, as we kind of see a theme here this week. This time in the NFC, it is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home to take on the Atlanta Falcons. Losing their two best receivers obviously did not help, but what does help is playing one of the worst rush defenses in the league these past few weeks in the Falcons' rush defense, and you have Bucky Irving, Sean Tucker, and Rachaad White all there in the fold, so you could really win this game running the ball. We see how close these matchups are every single season. This is a very important game if you're a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, because if you lose this game, now you don't have a tiebreaker in the division. You're not going to be able to win the tiebreaker, and you're even farther back of the Falcons, who lead the division right now. So this may be your last chance to get in with the wild card race starting to heat up, especially with the Rams winning Thursday. So who do you have winning this game? A much important game for both sides. Falcons looking to bounce back after a blowout loss to the Seahawks. So who wins this one?
I think the Falcons win this 31-24. I mean, this Bucs secondary is god-awful. I mean, you saw Kirk cook them the first time. I think, yes, they had a bad week against the Seahawks, but I mean, overall, I think it was just a blimp, a bad game. It happens. I think they're going to play much better. I think Drake London and Darnell Mooney and Kyle Pitts, Bijan will probably get involved because Bijan's finally healthy. He wasn't on the injury report going into this game, and they actually finally started using him like a workhorse. So I think when he was getting split time, I think it was just because he wasn't healthy. He looks fully healthy now. He had an absolute electric game. He had like 120 yards and a touchdown. I think they're going to continue to ride him a lot. And I think at the end, I mean, to a defense that allowed 160 yards to Derrick Henry, Bijan's not Derrick Henry. The rushing attack isn't as good, but I think Bijan can easily have 80 to 100 yards, and then it'll set up the play action, and the passing game should absolutely cook up. But I do think the Bucs will be able to keep it close because this Falcons defense has not looked good. I think they'll be able to run the ball a lot and a lot of play action. I think Kate Otten is pretty good. And don't sleep on Jalen McMillan. I do like him a lot. I thought he's looked pretty decent in the snaps he's taken. Baker's looked really well. I mean, you have Sterling Sharp, who's a veteran. Maybe Trey Palmer will wake up pissed off and play really well. Sterling Shepard, that's what I meant to say. Hopefully Trey Palmer, if you're a Bucs fan, hopefully he wakes up pissed off because I don't know if you've seen the meme. Every time he tweets, I'm pissed off, he cooks. So maybe he can have a good game. And then, they have kind of a three-headed monster running back with Bucky, Sean Tucker, and Rachaad White. And at the end of the day, I just think not having Chris Godwin or Mike Evans is just going to kind of bite them. They're not going to be able to match up with the Falcons' offensive juggernaut weapons. And, 31-24 Atlanta.
I think this game is going to be a very good game. I think it's going to be back and forth, very close. But after a long, hard decision for myself, I have to go with the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, okay, bro. You literally said they're going to ride him all game long.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you just said
that. Bijan all game long for fantasy points.
But anyway, I have the Falcons winning this one 24-16. I do think this is going to be a hell of a football game. And if you're the Buccaneers, I wouldn't say this is going to be that difficult of a transition. You're going to be able to run the football a lot. I understand that your offensive line's a little bruised, especially in the middle. They don't really got anybody too well, especially at like center right now after losing Jensen to retirement. But McMillan's looked great, the rookie out of Washington. I'm expecting him to take a jump after the Evans and Godwin injuries. I think he's going to probably take over the Godwin role in the slot, and then the outside would be Palmer. So I would expect that for this week. But
really? I was expecting the opposite, but maybe. I don't know. I thought, isn't McMillan like 6'2" or something?
Well, they're all like smaller guys, though, because you got Shepard, too. They're all smaller.
I thought McMillan was bigger.
I'm not sure.
I could be wrong. I just kind of got them vibes that he was bigger.
But, I mean, either way, though, I'm not sure.
They could use him as like a power. They could use him as like a power slot. He is kind of like that longer, skinny. He is 6'1", 200. So they could kind of use him as like a power slot, like how we want the Bills to use Keon Coleman. So I do get that. I was just expecting them to use Trey Palmer, but honestly, the McMillan, I think he could cook in the slot. So I get where you're coming from there.
Yeah, I do think this will be a very close game, though. The Bucs desperately need this one. They're going to fight and fight and fight this whole game through. I think they're going to get down the field a lot, and the Falcons defense is just going to stop them right at the end and get these forced field goals. And I think that's going to be the difference in this one. 24-16, the Falcons narrowly survive. And basically, in my opinion, if the Falcons win this week, they win the division. And I understand we're halfway through the season, but that's really just the sad reality of the NFC South. No Derek Carr for the Saints, that even though they looked decent at the start, now they're starting to fall off and be the team we expected. Carolina Panthers are the Carolina Panthers. The Buccaneers now have all these injuries, and they're probably done if they lose this game. And the Falcons are the only team left remaining of that bunch. So give me Atlanta in this one. I think they cruise to a win here. Very close game despite that. 24-16. As we move into our next game, which features the Saints, oddly enough. It is the Chargers and the Saints. Fun fact, my buddy, when we made our podcast episode on Wednesday, he ended up forgetting this game and forgot to write this one down, which is very fair because these are two of the most irrelevant teams in football. But
you like how I came and flipped you off when you were doing it?
Yeah.
I was almost going to write in a piece of paper, the Sports Lab podcast is better, just shove it in the window.
Yeah, I can't. But Chargers, Saints, who do you have winning this one? Do the Chargers bounce back, or do the Saints finally get a win with Spencer Rattler or Haener? It's going to be Rattler, but who knows?
Yeah, no, I think the Chargers win this game pretty handily. because the Saints' run defense has been disgusting lately, and the Chargers want to run the ball, and play defense. I think they're going to be able to run the ball well. I don't think Herbert statistically will have a big game. I truly don't, because the Saints do have a decent secondary, but I think J.K. Dobbins will go berserk. I think maybe they'll even bring in some Gus Edwards, some Kamani Vidal. I think this rushing attack is going to go crazy. I mean, you just saw Javonte Williams do that, and the Chargers have a much better rush offense than the Broncos.
Javonte Williams hadn't scored 2 rushing touchdowns in a season in the last 2 years, and then he gets 2 in 1 game. So
yeah, so I think J.K. is going to cook, and then I think Rattler might be able to move the ball a little bit. He did say he was gonna try and target Chris Olave a lot, who is back this week, and that I hope you do, because I'm starting Chris. I hope you target him a lot. Give him 10 targets, even if he only catches 5 of them. At least it's fantasy points. Maybe he gets a touchdown. But at the end of the day, this Chargers defense has looked really well. I'm gonna go with the Chargers to win this game 24-10. I think this is gonna be a disgusting game to watch. A lot of running, a lot of defense, but I think that Spencer Rattler will be able to lead him on a garbage touchdown to Chris Olave. I'm predicting that because I'm manifesting it to happen. But yeah, this game's disgusting.
You can't keep getting away with stealing my score predictions every freaking week, man. I have 24 Chargers as well.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah, right. But I think that this Chargers team is going to run the ball for most of this game, if not all of it. The defense is going to play very well. I mean, this Broncos defense is a little bit better. I'll give them that. So I do see the Saints scoring a touchdown at some point, whether that's Olave or Kamara, whoever. But I do think that this game is going to be a complete blowout.
Trust.
I think this game is going to be a blowout. It's going to look closer, but by 14 instead of 21 like it could. But I think that the Chargers win this game convincingly. They get a much-needed win after the terrible game they had last week. I do think that this will be a lot better of a performance from Harbaugh and company, and they get the job done. If this is 2013 Saints versus 49ers, Peyton versus Harbaugh, I'd be freaking out right now. But no, we're talking about the Chargers and the Saints in 2024. So, Chargers and
like
the Saints.
That crazy playoff game with the Vernon Davis touchdown to win.
Oh,
I remember
God.
that one. Yeah.
Yo.
So then for them to lose to the Sea, was that the year that the Niners made the Super Bowl?
That was the year they made the Super Bowl because they were down 17-0 to Matt Ryan and the Falcons in the NFC Championship game.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was that year or if it was the next year when they
I know
lost to the Seahawks.
About, though.
When you try to be the sorry ass receiver like Crabtree, that's the result you're going to get.
Yeah, Richard Sherman
is one of
in my 24 years of life, I'm better at life than you.
Oh, I love prime Richard Sherman was something different. I still like to use that quote. When I'm joking with my friends, I just go, I'm better at life than you.
Yeah, literally, dude. This shit's crazy. But moving into our next game, we have our beloved Buffalo Bills on the road to take on the 12th man, the Seattle Seahawks. Kenneth Walker had a very good game last week. This Bills rush defense hasn't looked that good. Terrell Bernard did get ruled out as well, so Kenneth Walker could have a big game, especially with Metcalf not being in this one either. On the other side, Metcalf week to week with an MCL sprain, so he won't go either. Who do you have winning this game? Do the Seahawks pull off their second straight win, or do the Buffalo Bills keep their momentum rolling after a win against Tennessee last week?
I think that the Seahawks will be able to keep this close. You know how much I love Kenneth Walker. I might buy his jersey. He's probably my favorite non-Bills player in the league.
I like the dude. Seahawks jerseys too. Like if there's a player to buy on any team,
I think I want to get a Color Rush Kenny Walker jersey once I graduate and have the money to do it.
Oh,
that would
jersey.
Exactly.
I love their Color Rush. It's one of the best.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite jersey in the NFL. Either those or those white Bengals ones with the white helmets with those black stripes.
I really like the black 49ers outfit.
Or those black and blue Lions ones are also pretty fire.
The Lions have the best uniforms all around, but to get out of that, game time.
The best uniform in all of sports, though, comes from Buffalo. It would be the Sabres goat head. I don't care. Debate a wall. They're in my opinion, I just love them so much. But anyways, back to football. I think Kenneth Walker is going to have a pretty good game. You said there's no Terrell Bernard. There's also no Dwayne Carter, who was put on IR with a wrist injury. And he has been our best defensive tackle so far this year. He has been absolutely cooking. I mean, we still have Eddie and Daquan in this, and we
Oliver's
still have
known for pass rush though.
But we do have Daquan at least for rush defense. Greg Rousseau is a great run defender. Dorian Williams is a good run defender. I think this Seahawks offensive line, even without Dwayne Carter, is still much worse than our defensive line. And our defensive line is one of those D lines that we absolutely dominate bad offensive lines like we did last week against the Titans. But then against good offensive lines, we get absolutely dominated. We're kind of like in that middle tier, and the Seahawks offensive line sucks. So I think we'll be able to still be able to have our way with them. But at the same time, Kenneth Walker is just too much. I think he might have a modest game running the ball, and maybe like 60-ish yards and like 10 to 15 carries. But I think he'll be able to cook us in the receiving game because without Terrell Bernard,
Oh, yeah.
I don't trust
linebackers covering him.
Yeah, I don't trust Balen Spector or Dorian Williams. I love Dorian Williams, what I've seen out of him this year, but I don't trust either of them to be able to cover Kenneth Walker. I think he's going to absolutely – and we suck. We've always – this entire year, we've been awful defending running backs in the pass game. I think that'll kind of continue. I think Geno's going to throw to him a lot, especially without DK Metcalf. And then Benford will lock down, probably Tyler Lockett. Teron Johnson will probably be able to hold JSN for the most part. And I think it's going to be the Kenny Walker show. And I think he's good enough, and Geno's been good enough this year to be able to keep them in the game. But at the same time, I'm going to go with the Bills to win this game 31-20. I think this offense continues to look better. Amari Cooper is going to play more. And hopefully Joe Brady remembers what play action is, because the key to beat the Seahawks, run, play action. And because their linebackers are not that good, because Ernest Jones will not be playing, I'm assuming. He just got traded on Wednesday. He'll get there on Thursday. I highly doubt he plays. Or if he does play, it'll be very, very limited.
Ernest Jones got traded again?
Yeah, you didn't see? On Wednesday, Ernest Jones to the Seahawks for Jerome Baker and a fourth.
Wow.
Yeah.
He got a lot better value than I thought they would.
Yeah, but I think Ernest Jones is a stud. I think he's going to be pretty good for the Seahawks, but that's next week. I think James Cook's going to have a good game. I think Josh, last time he played the Seahawks, he absolutely torched them. Granted, 4 years ago, but I think he'll be able to have a pretty good game. I think Amari Cooper playing more in this offense is really going to open things up. And yeah, 31-20 Bills.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Buffalo in this one as well. The Bills have started to kind of put it on as of late. I'm not sure if Tariq Woolen will play in this game or not, but I feel like that would be a very big addition to that Seahawks defense.
Fun fact, I got to tell you something. My friend's roommate played Madden with Tariq Woolen this week. I think it was Tuesday he texted me. I think he texted me Tuesday night. My friend's roommate played Madden with Tariq Woolen, and Tariq was saying he was going to shut down Keon.
Oh, geez.
Which, if he plays, he probably will. I mean, Tariq Woolen's been an absolute stud. Hopefully he doesn't, though. I didn't know he was injured. That's sick. Well,
yeah, he's been dealing with a wrist
sick that he's injured, but it's not sick that someone's injured. But if he doesn't play, that's sick, I guess.
Right. I'm going to go ahead and say that he does end up playing if that's the case. So I think this is going to be a very good game. I think it'll come back and forth, but I do think the Buffalo Bills survive this one on the road. I think being on the road is going to make this one a hell of a lot more difficult for the Buffalo Bills as well, though. But 27-20 is my score prediction. I think the Bills get it done. I think this is going to be a very close game. Kenneth Walker is going to be the one that keeps them in this game on the offensive side of the ball. But like we do in most games, the Bills will turn it on in the second half and win this football game. I think Josh Allen's going to have a good game. Every game he's played against the Seahawks, which this is, I believe, only the second one he'll play against Seattle. I think that second one.
Yeah, second. Yeah, the first one was that COVID where he threw for like 400 yards and had like 4 touchdowns.
That was right after his grandma passed or whatever.
Yeah, because then everyone he raised like $1 million donating to his to Oshai, because that's where his grandma was like at the hospital, and everyone was doing it in $17 increments. I remember that. If I wasn't still in high school and had money, I would have done it too. But I was in high school and had nothing.
But I feel like this is just one of those games. It's going to be really close. It's going to come down to the end, but I have Buffalo winning this one in a tight battle, 27-20. Give me Josh Allen and that Bills team to get it done. If we could start to run the ball with James Cook and work off play action, this one very well could be Buffalo's from the beginning to the end. It could be a big blowout if that happens, but Joe Brady doesn't like to run play action, so I'm just going to go ahead and say that the Bills win by 7 points. Seahawks keep it close. Without Metcalf, it's a tough one for them, but they're going to lose this one to the Bills. As we move into the game of the week, according to the NFL, by putting this one into the 425 window, we have Jaden Daniels, the number 2 overall pick, at home taking on Caleb Williams, the number 1 overall pick, in Landover, Maryland. A very close battle could be on display here if Jaden Daniels plays. He is expected to with that injured, I think it was a hip, but he should
Ribs.
be fine.
I think it's ribs.
Oh, ribs. You're right. Hips Richardson, my bad. But I do think this game's going to be close. Who do you have winning this one, the number 1 or number 2 overall selection from this past draft?
I think this is a game we might differ on. This will be the first pick we could. I don't know your pick, but this could be the first pick we differed on in 2 weeks. But I am going to go with the number 1 overall pick. I think the Bears do win this game. I think this Bears defense has been absolutely electric. Based on your face, I'm assuming we're not differing. But this Bears defense has been absolutely electric this year, and Caleb Williams has gotten better every single game. And this Commanders defense is actually a little underrated, but when they face good quarterbacks and good receivers, they don't do well. Those are the teams they struggle against. Ravens, Bengals, Bucks. I think Caleb Williams is playing really well, and that receiving core with DJ Moore, Odunze, Keenan Allen is really, really good. And I think that they're going to be able to score enough. And I think without a healthy Jaden Daniels, a fully healthy, this Bears defense will kind of be able to not fully shut him down, but slow him down a little bit. And I think the Bears might win this game kind of in convincing fashion. I'm going to go 27-17. I really like the Bears in this game.
Yeah, I like the Bears in this one as well. I feel like these teams are very evenly matched, especially these last couple weeks on offense. These teams have been electric all season, especially for the Commanders' side. They've been electric on that offensive side of the ball. I think they'll stay electric in this game. I think that it's going to be very important that Jaden Daniels' health is in question for this one, so he's probably not going to be at 100%. But I do think that it's going to come down to which defense is better, and in the end, there's no way you can ever argue that the Commanders' defense is better than the Chicago Bears right now. I'm going to go ahead and say that the Bears get this one done. 27-24, I think it will be very close. I think this is one that everybody expects to be very good, and it did get flexed in.
I'm looking at the game.
And I'm going to go ahead and give the Commanders another loss in this one. Give me the Chicago Bears, as I'm assuming you just saw the error.
Yes, I did just see the error. But what I was looking at was the check swing on Stan. I feel like that. I don't feel like he went all the way through. It looked like it could have been called a ball. That's why I was kind of like, eh.
That's fair. I'm a little mad.
Is that Edmund? No, is that Tommy Edmund?
Yeah, I'm a little mad that Tommy Edmund decided to come back down to earth against you guys. But, he played like God against us. So
yeah, exactly. I love you, Tommy Edmund.
Bro, turn into prime Shohei Ohtani.
He won the NLCS, yeah.
Bro. Okay. Anyway, moving into the next game, we have another one that I doubt we'll differ on. Maybe not even any more this week. The Niners-Cowboys is really the only one that's left. I'm going to see what we have left, though. We have the Kansas City Chiefs on the road in Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. Gardner Minshew will start this one as the Yankees are out of the inning. But who do you have winning this one?
Spoil it. How'd you just spoil it?
I'm watching it on the Fox app. Get better, bro.
I was watching on the Spectrum app. Fuck you. Wait, what was the game you were talking about? The Cowboys,
Raiders. Raiders.
Chiefs by a lot. I mean,
by a lot.
This defense is going to absolutely cook Gardner Minshew. I think Brock Bowers will have a good game because the Leo Chanel and Nick Bolton are elite run defenders. They are not good in coverage. They are
Chanel's fast, but like
tight ends usually cook the Chiefs defense. The thing is, though, outside of Brock Bowers, there's really nothing else to throw to.
Also, how many times is Minshew actually going to be able to throw the ball with Jones?
Exactly, and they're not going to be able to run the ball at all because, one, their offensive line isn't good, and two, the running backs are even worse.
You don't trust Zamir White?
No, I don't trust Zamir White. This would kind of be funny if the Raiders won this game because they are the last team to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, and the Raiders.
Yeah, exactly. But they're also the only team to lose to the Panthers this year.
Yeah, right.
Give me the Chiefs to win this game. I think D-Hop will help this. I think D-Hop's washed, but I think even a washed D-Hop is way better than any other receiver they currently have healthy on that team.
I don't think he plays this week, does he?
I think he does. I mean, think about it. Amari Cooper played.
Capacity, though.
Just like Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
Because I think Xavier Worthy is bad. I've been saying that since he got drafted. I think
he's a one-trick pony.
And he has been pretty bad this year. He has negative EPA, which is really, really bad. Right. And I still think the Chiefs pull this one out. I'll go 27-10 Kansas City.
I have it a little different, 28-7 Chiefs. I think that the only touchdown that they get is a Brock Bowers touchdown, 95% sure on that. But I think this is going to be a game that they dominate. Kareem Hunt's going to be able to take over in the second half and run this game out, as the Chiefs are just going to really – they could pour it on if they wanted to, but I think this is the game where Mahomes, if you will, gets right. He has not looked like the Mahomes we've seen of the years past. 6 touchdown passes to 8 picks this year. 1 rushing touchdown, so he has 7 to 8 interception to touchdown ratio, but still not the Mahomes we're used to.
But it's weird because the offense has still been pretty decent.
Yeah, exactly.
Mahomes' numbers.
I think that's just a testament to how amazing Andy Reid is, to be fair. But I do think that the Chiefs win this one convincingly. I think this is the get-right game for Mahomes. I think that they get the job done by halftime. They're going to run the clock out in the second half and win this one convincingly. 28-7. Not really much else to be said about this game, nor is there much to be said about this next game between the Denver Broncos and the Carolina Panthers. A rematch of Super Bowl 50. This time we do not have Peyton Manning. We have Bo Nix. And we do not have Cam Newton. We have Bryce Young. So
even more you.
Yeah, right.
The battle of awful.
Yeah. The Broncos have admittedly looked better, but the Panthers are going without Andy Dalton, who got into a car accident. So prayers up to him. Obviously, as of right now, we've heard nothing of injuries that have been life-threatening or anything like that. So that's
life-threatening, yeah. But he has a thumb injury. That's why he's not playing. That he suffered.
Tani, back at the wall. Oh, it's caught.
Bro, stop spoiling it for me, you little bitch.
I'm sorry.
Just because your Mets aren't in it.
This is your fault.
I'm not downloading no Fox app. I'm watching it on Spectrum.
Well, you can watch it slower than me then, because.
Well, then just don't spoil it. That's so gay of you.
I won't. Anyway, I think that this game is going to be pretty bad. Who do you have winning this one?
The Broncos 27-3. Bryce Young throwing without his top 2 receivers and Adam Thielen and Deontay Johnson, who was ruled out earlier. I don't know if Deontay Johnson's injury is legitimate or they're just planning on trading him. I'm hoping they're just planning on trading him. Please get him out of Carolina. I'm begging you. But yeah, absolutely disgusting. Javonte Williams, I think, is going to have another big game against this Panthers god-awful run defense. And while I still don't think Denver's that good, I think they're going to be one of the worst 5-3 teams I've ever seen in my life. They still are going to move to 5-3. I'm so happy I have 3 Broncos starting Broncos defense in 3 different leagues. That's just awesome because they're going to absolutely tee off on how bad this Panthers offense is going to be. They'll probably have another defensive touchdown. Actually, I'm predicting it. I should bet Broncos defense anytime touchdown. I think they're going to have like a pick 6 or fumble recovery. And they're just going to they're going to have like 6 sacks, probably multiple turnovers, absolutely cook them. What is going on with Garrett Cole?
That one almost 2 outs, but yard too.
I know. I get it's, but I understand 2 outs and it's Ohtani and Mookie, but not a very good sign.
Yeah,
whatever. This game's disgusting. There's a 0% chance I'm watching this at all.
Yeah, especially since the Bills are playing as well. I don't watch any other games, and I'll be damned if it's the game. If this is the week that changes with the Broncos Panthers.
I'll probably put Bears Commanders on one of my 4 TVs I have in my garage since I.
Do they at least run faster than your phone on Spectrum?
Shut up. They're all. I use the Spectrum app on them.
Oh, so they still run the same speed. Got it. Anyway, back to football. I have the Broncos winning this one 24-3 as well. I think this game is going to be complete garbage. I think the Broncos are going to be a very bad 5-3 team. And looking at their schedule, they very well could make the playoffs with how bad of the schedule they have. I mean, they play the Chargers again, and then they play the Raiders.
They lost to. They also play the Ravens, I think.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs twice. Their schedule is pretty tough the rest of the way.
I think they still get at least 8.
They play. I don't. I think they beat the Panthers. I think they beat the Raiders. And I think they might beat the Browns.
Oh, my gosh.
They play the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Chargers, the Falcons, and the Ravens, and the Chiefs again. And the Colts and Chargers, who they already lost to.
Right.
This is not a good start. Is Freddie Freeman really about to get a triple on us? It's disgusting.
Who is your left fielder?
It's Verdugo.
Oh, yeah, he's the bum. Yeah.
This is not a good start so far. Whatever.
It's a 2-out triple, though. I mean,
I hate the Dodgers, so they just spend ungodly amount of money. I can't wait until they have to pay these deferred payments and then they suck. I can't
Yeah,
wait for that
right.
when they're paying Shohei $68 million a year to not be in the team when his contract expires. Even though that's in 10 years, I can't wait for that. I hope they don't win a World Series in his entire tenure, and then it's a complete waste.
Yeah.
Like, even though the Yankees are the third highest payroll, I wholeheartedly believe that there should be a salary floor and a salary cap. I think it's kind of BS what the Dodgers are able to do, but whatever.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, like, how do you think I felt when we just got smoked by them last round?
Like, at least the Yankees, really the only people that they've spent big money to sign, not trade or re-sign, is Cole and Rodon. Quit making reactions. Like,
Sorry.
Stanton is a big trade. Soto, big trade that we had to give up big assets for. Judge, homegrown. Torres was kind of sweet. Torres was
That
kind
was
of
so close.
Torres was kind of homegrown. Sorry for getting off topic. I just really wanted to rant on this. Dominguez homegrown. Austin Wells homegrown. Luis Gil homegrown. And then our entire bullpen is full of misfits that Matt Blake is fixed because Matt Blake's one of the best pitching coaches in the league. Unlike the Dodgers, who it's just like everyone, it's sign or trade. They don't literally only 5% of their World Series or their roster in the World Series is drafted players. It's gross.
Max Muncy, I think, is the only one that I can think of.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, back to this.
And maybe
The
Bueller.
next games, the last two are the 49ers versus Cowboys, then Steelers versus Giants. We'll start with the Niners-Cowboys being on Sunday Night Football. The Niners haven't looked like themselves this year without CMC. They won't have him again this week, but it is the Cowboys' rush defense, so who really knows? I feel like you could put a sixth grader in there, and they'd find a way to run for 1,000 yards against this Cowboys defense if they played them every week. Who do you have winning this one, Niners or Cowboys? Cowboys coming off a much-needed bye. 49ers looking to get back on track.
Yeah, even though the Niners are basically without everyone on offense, without Ayuk, Juwan Jennings
Ricky
is
Pearsall got shot and still came back before CMC, bro.
Yeah, CMC's out.
That's crazy.
Ayuk's out. Juwan Jennings is out. I don't know if Debo is playing or not. I haven't. He is. Okay, so they're gonna have.
He got
Debo,
released from the hospital, so he's
I
expected
think
to go.
Debo, Pearsall, and Jordan Mason, I think, is plenty enough to absolutely cook this disgustingly bad Cowboys rush defense.
Right.
And Niners, despite all the injuries on the offensive side of the ball, this Niners defense is pretty healthy, and they've looked pretty decent. Obviously, Fred Warner and Nick Bosa are absolute studs. I think they're going to be able to play pretty well against this Cowboys offense. It has just not looked the same. Dak and CeeDee don't seem to be on the same wavelength. They have no run offense at all, and they have their wide receivers outside of CeeDee have been pretty bad. I mean, Tolbert's looked all right, but besides that, it's been rough. So I think that the Niners kind of dominate this game. I'll go 27-17, I guess.
I have the 49ers winning this one 28-21. I feel like this one could definitely be a bit of a blowout for the 49 in favor of the Niners, but at the same time, the rich history between these teams, I just feel like there's no way in hell this game could ever be like a big blowout. I mean, we saw that blowout last year on Sunday Night Football when the Cowboys reversed this. So, I mean, we could see how it goes, but I do think that the 49ers get this one done. They're at home. I feel like this is a must-win game in the division. Obviously, we have the Bills beating the Seahawks, so this is for the division lead again. I do think this is a very important game for the 49ers. They've already started to look pretty bad this year. These are two of the teams that everybody thought was going to be very good this year that haven't looked like themselves. Although I think the 49ers have a lot more excuses than the Cowboys do, being that half their offense has been injured all season. It's been a revolving door of which person's injured. I don't think they've had every single weapon since week one. They technically haven't because McCaffrey. So I do think that this is an important game for the 49ers, and it is a get-right game that they do get right as we move into the last game, and it looks like we're going to have a back-to-back weeks without a single different opinion. Steelers-Giants. Are you picking the Giants?
Give me Danny Dimes. No,
right?
TJ
Watt, who?
Yeah. Malik Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson.
Have you ever heard of Jalen Hyatt?
They bring the boom.
Theo Johnson.
Yeah. We are Penn State.
Right.
We are actually terrible. If you're the Giants, that's what you're saying. You've got Sexy Dexy. You've got Brian Burns. You've got Malik Neighbors. And then you got a bunch of, as Stephen A. Smith would say, certified bums.
Certified bums.
Sorry, I watched a Stephen A. Smith highlight reel earlier, and I saw that. It just reminded me of it. Old Stephen A. Smith was the greatest. Anyways, yeah, no, the Steelers are
Anthony
gonna
Rizzo
dominate
has
this
the
game.
biggest baby face I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, the Steelers are gonna dominate this game. We'll go 27-13. We'll go Wan'Dale Robinson to get a garbage touchdown at the end of this game, just because I have him in fantasy. Got to manifest all these fantasy touchdowns. Off his foot. Come on. There's no. Okay, I was gonna say if you get thrown out there, that would have been sad.
Yo. Anyway, I also have the Steelers winning. I think that this one's going to be a lot more defensive, though. I feel like Dexter Lawrence is going to be an absolute problem up front. I don't think that the Steelers' offensive line's played good at all this season. Zizo
Zach
Ojulari
Frazier's played pretty well, but
yeah, exactly. But at the same time, though, I feel like if Dexter Lawrence isn't the one, I don't think if Dexter Lawrence is getting through, then someone else is off the edge. So we'll see somebody get through in this one. I think it's 21-9 is my final score. I think the Giants
extra
down
point or 3 field goals.
3 field goals. I think that they get down the field decently enough in the beginning of this game. I feel like halftime could very well be like 7-6. I think that's how bad this game's going to be. I think it's going to look a lot
George
like
Pickens. We're going to have all 3 touchdowns. I'm calling it.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to have a good game. So I do think that the Steelers team is going to do just enough to get past them in the second half, and they are going to win this one 21-9. As we once again don't predict a single matchup differently. We again have the exact same teams. So
my record on the year right now is 69-39.
69-39.
Yeah.
So I'm 71-37. So
if only I knew Puka was playing,
we would have both got that, bro. I'm so serious. But moving into college football, we're gonna go really fast here. So we're going to start with Navy Notre Dame, 24-seeded Navy taking on the 12-seeded Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Who wins this one, in your opinion? I think this one's going to be very close, but who do you have?
I would love to see Navy wins this game. I just think Notre Dame is just too talented, for being honest. I think that's kind of the ultimate. Navy, I love the story. I'd love to see, like, Army-Navy, like, that game actually means something. The only thing that would suck about that, it would mean Boise State can't make it in, because the only one group of 5 will be in, but at the same time, that would be pretty sick. That would have to start with Navy upsetting Notre Dame, but I just don't see that happening.
Notre Dame is going to be that team that gets in. Sadly, Notre Dame's not in any conference, so Notre Dame has to be the 5 seed.
Oh, I thought like no. Well, yeah, Notre Dame's not. Notre Dame's not group of 5.
3 college football teams that's
I know that, but Notre Dame's not group of 5. It's not non-power 4, it's group of 5. Which so they'd
have to make it as like a wild card then?
Yeah, Notre Dame would have to be one of the highest ranked.
That's bullshit.
No, that's stupid for Notre Dame. Go get yourself in a conference. Go join the ACC. You're already in the ACC for basketball.
I guess they're doing that to promote teams going into conference.
Yeah. Go join the ACC, Notre Dame. That's your fault for thinking you're too good to be independent. No, you shouldn't be able to get a free pass just because you're not in a power 4. No, it's. I was gonna say I thought it was group of 5. That's why it's like
be 6, and it should just be like if they're one of the better teams that's just not in a conference, they're just like an independent. I think that should count too, though.
Well, yeah, no, Notre Dame can get in. If there's only 3
independents. But they'd have to go through like the longer route. Like there's no cheesy way, I guess.
Well, if you're not a top 4, only top 4 seed gets buys. So, and those are the group of 4 winners. So it's not like the group of 5 gets it easier. Notre Dame could be the 6th seed. Yeah, but what
happens if the 5 plays the 6, though?
The 5 wouldn't play the 6. That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it could happen if they make it to the Natty.
And also just because.
Never mind. Disregard my point. No matter what, they all play a neutral site in the second round and beyond anyway. It doesn't matter.
And also, the thing is, Boise State doesn't become the 5 seed. If they make it, the group of 5 doesn't become the 5 seed. The group of 5 just gets in. They could be Boise State's probably going to be the 12 seed. It's the top 4 are the group of 4, the power 4 winners. And then after that, the group of 5 gets in. But 5 through 12 is just who you think the best seed is.
Got it. So it's basically just ranking like the top 4 like they've done
The
previously.
top,
Okay.
if you win your conference Power 4, you're a top 4 seed. Obviously, the best one is the
Okay.
one.
I get it.
1 through 4 get seeded based on how good you are, and then 5 through 12 is how good you are. It's just the best group of 5 school is automatically in. That doesn't mean they're the 5 seed, though.
So they could be like the 21st ranked team in the country, but they'd still
And they
get in
get in
because
as
they're the top power team.
They're the top group of 5, yes.
Group of 5, sorry.
But also the same thing. Like, say the person who wins the Big 12 is like 21st. They would be the 4 seed because the group
Right.
the Power 4 winners all get buys, which I think is kind of stupid. I agree. The Power 4 should all get in, but it's kind of stupid that you would be like the ACC. Obviously, like going into the year, everyone thought it was going to be much worse. But Miami and Clemson's look good. But say it was like how bad it was last year. Well, I guess Florida State, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Like in years past, there's been or the Pac-12 before last year. Like there's been years where like the person who wins the conference is not that good, and it's like why should they be able to get a top 4 bye just because they won a game?
Well, I mean, if they're not that good, then they'll just lose anyway. So,
but like there's been times where like the 20 seed, like the 20th ranked team in the country wins their conference championship. So they shouldn't get it. They shouldn't be a top 4 seed, is what I'm saying. They should be able to get in, but they should be in as like
yeah,
the
like
12th
Clemson's
seed.
probably going to win the ACC.
What about Miami?
Pitt and Miami too. Pitt looks
probably
really good too.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Clemson though versus Miami. Cam Ward has been insane, and
I think
Cade
Clemson
Klubnik's been playing.
Clemson beats Pitt when they play, and then Clemson plays Miami.
Yeah, I think Miami wins it. I
think it's gonna be
Miami.
close though.
Yeah, even though I hate Miami, Cam Ward has been absolutely insane. If it wasn't for Austin Genty, I think he'd be my Heisman pick if it wasn't for Genty. But
right. Well, we kind of got sidetracked, but I also have Notre Dame winning this game. I think that they'll do.
We've got sidetracked a lot tonight.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna go 20-10. I think Notre Dame runs by them. I feel like Navy's offense isn't really as good as Notre Dame's offense is, even though Notre Dame's offense has looked like weird at times. I do think this will be a good game, but I have to go with Notre Dame. They're just one of the prestigious programs in this country, so I'll go with the Fighting Irish to win this one. Next up, we have Indiana, who is the 13th ranked team, beating Nebraska last week, taking on Washington. Is this the week that the Hoosiers finally lose or even fall down by any points in this game, as they haven't trailed once this season? Or does Washington cave like normal?
Washington will cave. Washington got blown out by Iowa, and then Indiana just blew out Nebraska. Washington
They beat Michigan, though.
What?
They beat Michigan, though.
Wow, they beat a team that, what, is 3-4 now? Or 4-3?
I mean, you had them beating Illinois last week.
What?
You had Michigan beating Illinois.
Yeah, I'm wrong on Michigan, clearly.
Yeah,
Michigan is not that good. I thought they were better than they were. I just didn't realize how bad that. I thought the rushing attack plus Orgy would be able to.
Alex Orgy was not enough, man. He didn't have enough Orgies.
Yep, that's basically what it is. Yeah. But I think Illinois.
My girlfriend left.
I mean, that's crazy. James Madison my bad. Illinois just doesn't lose. I mean, look up the coach. That's literally what he said. He's like, I don't lose, and he doesn't. He cooked last year at James Madison. He brought over half of James Madison's team, and he's cooking this year at Indiana. I think they continue their run. I mean, I don't think Indiana. I don't know if they're going to make it. They probably won't make it to the college football playoff because I think they still have to face Ohio State, and then maybe
they play Ohio State next week, I believe.
Yeah, no, not next week because Penn State and Ohio State play next week.
Oh yeah, you're right. I think it.
Let me check that real quick. I remember them playing.
They play somebody really good though. I can't remember who.
I know they play Ohio State. I just don't think it's.
Well, you look that up. I'm going to say that I have Indiana winning this one as well. Washington's offense has looked pretty good at times, but their defense has been a big reason why they've lost. Obviously, losing to Iowa's offense is a big reason why I think their defense is trash. But I'm going to go with Indiana to win this one 31-17. I think they do enough in this one, and they continue to be unbeaten as they look pretty damn good right now, I won't lie. So give me Indiana in this one.
Honestly, if Indiana keeps it close to Ohio State, I could see them making it in. But if they get blown out, and even though they only have one loss, just because they've beaten like no one that good.
Nobody, exactly.
Yeah, because like Oregon, Georgia, Penn State, Ohio State, Texas, Miami, those 6 teams are definitely making it in.
Georgia, after beating Texas, I think Georgia wins.
I said Georgia.
Oh, Tennessee?
Tennessee will be 2 losses most likely because they have to play Georgia.
Ole Miss.
LSU probably.
LSU does.
Well, it depends on how they fare these next 2 weeks because they have Texas A&M and Bama. If they drop, or not 2 weeks because it's like Tennessee, LSU, Clemson. I think probably makes it because I think Clemson wins out and then they lose to Miami. And I would rather have I'd rather have a 2-loss Clemson than a 1-loss Indiana, especially since one of Clemson's losses would be in the ACC championship game, and you can't
And then
really.
the other one's to Georgia.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't discredit someone for losing in a championship game over someone who doesn't play in a championship game, because Indiana, I don't think, plays in the championship game. I think it's going to be Oregon, Ohio State. BYU.
There's no way Indiana makes it through one of those two.
And then Boise State, who's ranked behind them, I think they get in. That's a spot. So now we're at like 8. Then either BYU or Iowa State gets in. That's 9. And those are some of those other fringe teams. So if they do, it would be like by the skin of their teeth. If they keep it close with Ohio State, I think they definitely make it in. But if they get blown out.
So Alabama doesn't make it.
No, I don't think Alabama makes it.
I feel like if Alabama doesn't make it, Indiana doesn't make it. I feel like that's just the sad reality.
Well, Bama, a 1-loss Indiana, I think they would get it in over a 3-loss Bama if Bama has another loss.
I don't think Bama loses again. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, then LSU probably doesn't make it in. Because LSU has to face Bama.
Either Bama or LSU makes it. It's not both.
Yeah.
It can't be. But since they play each other still, they can't be.
Yeah, I agree.
But moving on, I have...
We keep getting sidetracked.
Yeah, right. We have 3 last games. Oregon versus Illinois. The 20th seed in the country is Illinois. They just won last week against a really bad Michigan team. Oregon just continues to stomp their opponents. They are the 1 seed after Texas's gaffe against Georgia. Who do you have winning this one? I feel like this one's self-explanatory.
Give me Dylan Gabriel to absolutely cook. For my sports PR class, we have to do a Heisman Trophy campaign, and I lost in rock, paper, scissors, and instead of getting Ashton Jeanty, we got Dylan Gabriel. Because, what happened is Caleb actually, he's like, I'll take Cam Ward. I want Cam Ward because he really likes Cam Ward. And then it was 3 people that wanted Jeanty, and everyone else had Travis Hunter as their number 2 choice. And the teacher was like, does anyone want to volunteer to just give up Jeanty, but then they get Travis Hunter? One of them did. So then it's between us and another for Jeanty, and we lost. We didn't get Jeanty, but Gabriel was our 3rd choice because, I hate Miami. Even though Cam Ward's a beast, I hate Miami. So we got Dylan Gabriel. So, and Oregon's my 2nd favorite
college football team?
non-local college football team. Like Florida's 1, then I guess you probably put UB Syracuse 2, 3 just because they're local, but then non-local Oregon is 2. I've always loved their jerseys. I've loved Marcus Mariota. Those eggshell.
Herbert really made me fall in love with them.
For me, it was Mariota. Those eggshell jerseys though that Oregon has.
The ones now.
Those things are so clean. And
I never thought green and gray would go so hard.
I have a great uncle that lived in Oregon. He was a big Ducks fan, so I kind of like them because of him too. But yeah, no, I've always loved Oregon, and I had Oregon being the 3 seed in the college football playoff this year. I had it being Georgia 1, Ohio State 2. Well, I guess Oregon is the 5, but the 3rd best team. That's what I'm going to say.
Right, obviously.
And making the semis, but then they beat Ohio State. I still think neutral ground Ohio State wins that game. That's here nor there. I'm going to go with Oregon to dominate Illinois. We'll go, and we're not doing score predictions. We haven't, but for this one, I'll go 31-17. I don't think this game's
I think close. Oregon runs away as well. Their defense has looked amazing. If you can give any knock to the Illinois team right now, it's that offense. So go ahead and give me the Oregon Ducks to win this one 27-6. I think they blow them out and prove why they're the number 1 seed in the country. So I think they'll continue their bid, at least as of now. I feel like once they get to Ohio State at a neutral site, it's over. I feel like that crowd really helped them win that game. But I do think that it'll be a very close race for that Big Ten. I do think that this is an important game for Oregon to win, obviously. So give me Oregon in this one, 27-6. As we move into the next game, Alabama versus Missouri, 2 SEC teams going at it. 15 Alabama, 21 Missouri. Who gets it done in this one? Does Bama bounce back, or does Missouri win? Who do you have winning?
I think Bama bounces back. I just don't think Missouri's that good. Brady Cook is not that good. Luther Burden.
And I'm killed it, bro.
Yeah, Luther Burden these last couple weeks has kind of been a little underwhelming. This Missouri defense that everyone thought was going to be really good hasn't looked great. I mean, they had to come back to barely beat Auburn, and Auburn's awful this year. Missouri, I just don't think they're that good. I think they got overranked because they beat a Boston College team that was ranked because they beat an awful Florida State team that they had ranked at the beginning of the year. You know how that if you beat a ranked team, you automatically jump up a lot, but I don't think Boston College is that
Vandy
good.
right now.
Well, I mean, you got to give credit to Vandy. They beat Bama. That's a lot different than
But at
Missouri
the same time,
beating.
Bama's not Bama of years past, bro.
It was right after they beat Georgia, though, and they were the number one team in the country, though.
Yeah, that's fair, but still.
And Vanderbilt's 5-2. That's a lot different than Missouri barely beating.
Yeah, but they
Boston
have two
College.
losses though.
But so does every other school that's fighting to get ranked.
I feel like this is the most loss
you gonna
I've ever
put Sarah?
seen. Like, I feel like this is the most loss I've ever seen for like these top teams ever. Like a lot of teams have like one or two losses. I'm used to like I feel like every season growing up, like no one made the college football playoff or even was in the top 10 if they had more than one loss. And this year it feels like at least half of the teams that make the college football playoff are going to have at least two losses.
I think it's because of the transfer portal. There's teams can't stack up as much talent because if you're a backup somewhere, you just transfer. Like, why would you sit as? And there's exceptions, but for the most part, why? Unless it's like your next year's your year and like you're a freshman, it's a senior. Why would you sit when you can go start somewhere else and you just go to a different school that has the opening? So NIL's kind of, I think, closed the talent gap, but I think the transfer portal is really good because it opened it. Or not. I think NIL opens the talent gap because like the top schools just pay. But I think the transfer portal kind of closes that gap because if you're a really good backup, but you're just behind someone else who's really good, you can go and start somewhere else and make that team look better because you're still very good. Yeah. So I think that's partly why I think also there is no Alabama to absolutely dominate anymore. That's part of it too. No, but I think Vandy at 5-2 is rightfully deserved. I mean, they've also had some close games against. I mean, they went to overtime against Missouri, who is ranked.
Even though you were just talking about why they shouldn't be.
No, I said they got overranked. I still think they're in that range of.
They're 21, man. That like there's 4 spots that they can move down.
No, I said they were overranked when they were ranked in the top 10. Oh. They're not overranked now. That's what I was saying. I was saying at the beginning of the year they were ranked up to 7. I'm saying it got inflated because they beat a ranked Boston College at the time that was only thought it was good because they beat Florida State, who happens to just be like the worst team in college football.
Right.
Also, what are you going to give? Syracuse was ranked 27th, and they just got absolutely throttled, like
by a very good Pittsburgh team.
Yeah, but they still got absolutely
through pick sixes.
They still got absolutely throttled.
If it wasn't for 3 pick sixes, we would have lost by like 5 points. Not even.
But you guys got throttled.
No, we did. Yeah, I won't lie, but Pittsburgh's looked very solid so far. Even
Pittsburgh looked really good.
Holstein didn't even look all that great.
That's the team that they had as 20. That's the team that they had as 27. I'm just saying, I think Vanderbilt deserved to be top 25 right now.
Right, that's fair. I have Alabama winning this one as well, 31-21. I think it'll be a little bit closer. I feel like these two teams are fighting for their playoff lives at this point. Whoever loses this one's not making it automatically, I think. And I feel like I just trust Alabama so much more in this situation. I feel like Bama could definitely run away with this. But my gut's telling me this one's going to be a little close considering they have to really, this is a game for both teams where it's like an elimination game almost, where I feel like one team's clearly better than the other, but it's going to be closer because they're both trying to keep their season alive. So go ahead and give me Alabama 31-21. As we move into the last college football game we'll talk about, Texas A&M, who is the 14th ranked team in the country, taking on the number 8 ranked LSU. They are at home. Do the Aggies get it done, or do the Tigers keep on rolling?
Now, I've been low on LSU this year. I think they're a little, overrated. I mean, every game seems to be close.
Meyer has not looked as advertised.
Yeah, but I'm also extremely low on Texas A&M. I just don't think they're that good. They lost to Notre Dame, who then the following week lost to Northern Illinois. I understand upset, blah, blah, blah. But I don't trust Texas A&M that much. I don't really like them. I think LSU, at least Nussmeier, or however you say his name, is much better than Connor Weigman. Nussmeier is much better than Connor Weigman. However you pronounce that name too?
Weigman.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyways, yeah, give me LSU. Screw Texas A&M.
Was that Edmond at second?
It was.
He waddled.
He's so tiny.
Bro, and he's a tiny little guy who just destroyed my team in the last round of the playoffs.
Little midge.
I'm never letting that little faggot get away with this. Fuck that guy. So, dude, I hope he falls off the cliff.
Jesus Christ. We know you're not. I guess we know you're not a Tommy Edman fan. Oh my
I
God.
hate Tommy Edman. Even when he was on the Cardinals, goddammit.
Me and all the homies hate Tommy Edman.
Yeah, real. Bro. Speaking of this game, though, I have to go with LSU. I think they pound him into the ground in this one. I think it's going to be a very good game.
I hate Aaron Judge in the playoffs. Quit swinging at everything, you idiot. You are so good in the regular season when you're patient and you wait on your pitch. And then in the playoffs, you just swing at every single pitch you see. Don't get it. You don't need to hit a home run every single pitch.
X down on his controller.
Like you don't need to hit a homer. It's not X square. He has square.
Oh yeah, power. Yeah.
Yeah. He's just going for a home run every single at bat or every single pitch.
It's either he hits a home run or it's nothing, really. 90% of the time. Not to be mean, but I'm just in the playoffs anyway. For this game, though, I think LSU keeps it at least close. I feel like they have that. How would I make this make sense? LSU hasn't looked as good as they have in years past. I feel like that this is going to be one of those games between two teams I think are decently fraudulent, and I'm going to have to go ahead and lean with my gut, which is going to tell me LSU in this one. I think it's going to be close because both teams aren't really as good as they are advertised to be, but I'll go ahead and say that that LSU wins 24-17 over Texas A&M in a close battle. I guess now would be a perfect time after what just happened in the game to kick it to some MLB talk for the last little bit here. Obviously, right now, what was that? The third inning? Is that the third inning?
Yep.
We have the Dodgers and the Yankees 0-0 tied. Alex, what are your thoughts on this game? Who do you think wins game one? A pivotal game in the series. Honestly, this is going to be a fun series, but
I'm still going to ride with my Yankees. But Aaron Judge legitimately is MLB's Lamar Jackson, and I shit on Lamar Jackson so often for being so good in the regular season and then choking in the playoffs. When legitimately my second favorite athlete does the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Granted, Aaron Judge is better in the
athlete.
Yes.
Behind
Aaron Judge is yes. Aaron Judge, even though he is better in the regular season than Lamar is, like he's put up more historical numbers.
Right.
Like he's literally broken more records and stuff. Like
no,
so at least there's that difference. But and years past he's been good. Like up until 2022, he was actually pretty good in the playoffs. Like he's like fifth all time in the Yankees postseason home runs. Because in 2017 and 2018, and like those years, he was actually pretty good. 2022, he was really bad.
I feel like I'm not even going to lie to you. That 2017 Yankees team wins the World Series if they make it.
Exactly, but the Trastros, the fucking Houston Astro trash bangers, I hate them. They're my second least favorite team in the league. Never paid anyone more than Boston. Well, yeah, but
I like the Astros colors.
Fuck them. And the red, them and fiber my being. They suck. Cool. Yeah,
blue
but they're both
with the red and the gray is nice. But
they both suck. They suck.
I think this game is going to be very close. I think it's going to be a pitcher's duel as it's looked so far. Just one hit per side. Actually, 2 hits now for the Yankees. Sorry, Stanton led off with a hit in that last inning before Edmund waddled his way to
Torres.
Oh, Torres. Sorry, but
he beat out
waddled his way to second base to throw a double play. So
hopefully
I think this game will be close. But right now, if Garrett Cole is playing like this for the rest of this game, I'm not sure how long it's going to take for the Dodgers to score because he has given up some big bombs, even though they were both caught. And he's also
hopefully there's just first inning jitters and he settles in. I have a feeling he's going to settle in, but that just might be my delusion talking.
Right, that's fair. But I think this will be a very close game. The Dodgers are one of the best teams pitching-wise in game ones that I've ever seen. So for some reason, they just turn it up in game one. They feel like they want to really set a good example for themselves. And this is the perfect time to do it now coming into this next inning. So I think
which is weird because the Yankees match up, like if you look at it, they match up really well against Flaherty because they're like the best hitting right-handed team in the league and they're good against Flaherty's pitches, but
they're good against lefties in general.
Righties.
Oh yeah, righties, sorry.
Yeah, they're statistically they have the highest WRC plus against righties.
Because they only have one lefty on their entire playoff roster.
Yeah.
Right now, at least, unless they
What? I think it's Rizzo.
No, I'm talking about the Dodgers pitching staff.
Oh, the Dodgers pitching.
One left-handed.
I was gonna say, I thought the Yankees had more. I'm not always great with people's handedness, but
no,
I know the Dodgers
times better than I do. I don't even follow the Yankees.
I'm not good with handiness for some reason, like what side they hit from. I just know
Right.
I knew the Dodgers had a lot of righties, and the Yankees are really good against hitting righties. I know the Yankees have a lot more right-handed hitters than lefties. I know that, but well, anyways, moving on. What was it? Just Sabres talk now?
Yeah, the last thing we're going to get into here is the Buffalo Sabres. They are 3-1-1 in their last 5, a 2-game winning streak, 4-2 win on the road in Chicago, and then a 4-2 win back at home against Dallas. As they look to carry that momentum into this next week, they have 3 games, 4 if you count Dallas from last week. But I do think this is a very important game coming up.
When do they play after? When do they play after they play Florida? They don't play till Friday, right? So the only 2 games by the time we have our next pod.
Yeah, but there will be the 3rd game that night. So we'll see how it goes. I think we're going to do this, though. I think we're going to just...
No. Oh, no. Our next pod's going to be on Tuesday. We're going to have 2 games by then. We play on Saturday, Monday, and then Friday.
Oh, yeah, you're right. But...
Because I'm going to the game on Monday.
Oh, yeah, the Florida Panthers one?
Yeah, I got free tickets.
Nice. They have Detroit tomorrow at 1, and then Florida on Monday at 7.
So mad they have that game at 12:30. I'm gonna have to listen to it while I'm at work instead of being able to watch it. When I looked, it said 12:30. They must have bumped it back some.
Yeah, it's at 1. It said at least.
Either way, I'm most likely going to be working, and that's annoying because I'm not going to be able to watch the game. I'm going to have to listen to it. But whatever.
Either way, the Sabres have a couple games coming up against in division rivals, I guess, in this situation. So they're very important games. Especially Detroit, who a lot of people are thinking could vie for a wild card spot this year. Same with Ottawa, a couple other teams in the East that also could. But those are the main ones from our division, though. Those are the main ones from our division.
Yeah, from our division, yep.
I do think that this will be a very important task for the Sabres. They're on one of their best runs so far this season, so it'll be interesting to see how they do. Some surprises for the Buffalo Sabres right now. Tuck leads the team in points. He has 3 goals with 6 assists. You were right.
Yeah, not 6 goals. Yeah. I was going to say, I knew he didn't have 6. I knew Thompson had the most goals in the team.
Yeah, he does. But 9 points. He leads the team. Some surprises, obviously. Paterka with 4 goals, 2 assists. Power has 2 goals and 4 assists. He's looked great. McLeod has 4 goals, 1 in each of the last 4 games, including the Dallas game. He's looked very good as well. So,
to anyone who hates on Kevin Adams for that trade, you can hate on Kevin Adams for other things, but anyone who gave Kevin Adams shit for giving up Savoy for McLeod can go eat dirt.
And we have Tulio.
McLeod was perfect acquisition.
I think Tulio's a perfect piece if we want to trade and get somebody else. Like Tulio a second and then get somebody.
Yeah, I understand. Like Savoy is one of our top prospects, and like the potential, especially now that he could play with McDavid, he could.
I'm not even gonna lie to you, Savoy for Tulio. Savoy for Tulio in itself was almost a fair trade for the simple fact that Tulio is about on the same level as Savoy has been in the NHL-wise so far. Savoy has more upside, yes, but at the same time with Buffalo, he was never going to get into that rotation with how many prospects we have. So to even get McLeod on top of that was absolutely awesome. I think that's a very good trade.
I think that's a little crazy to say Savoy and Tulio had the same amount of value.
In terms of NHL-wise for us, because of all the other prospects we have. Savoy was never going to get in there. Never. It's not
I'm just saying, if we did Savoy for Tulio straight up, that would have just been stupid.
Yuri Kulich had one of the best playoff runs I've ever seen in my entire life with the Rochester Americans, and we didn't call him up the next year. Savoy was putting up baby numbers in the WHL compared to what he was doing the first couple seasons before we drafted him, and he was never sniffing the ice.
I thought last year he put up insane numbers.
I don't know.
But I agree. I think it was a very good trade because we wouldn't really have much room for him, especially since we had Kulich, better prospect. And why can't I even think of his name? Who's our top prospect right now? I'm blanking on it. Oh, Ostlund, yes. I was blanking on his name for some reason. We still have him who fits us
Ostlund needs to be the second line center of our future, bro. Please, for the love of God. Ostlund is amazing, bro. When he played for Sweden, he holds the record for the most assists by a Swedish player ever. He beat Henrik Zetterberg for the record.
Yeah. I think
dog.
Yeah, I think we need to if we could like trade like Quinn/Cousins to get a second line center for right now, we'd love it.
Give
And then in
Osland
like
one more year, and Osland's our second line center. I'm
next
okay
year,
with watching the Sabres be mediocre for one more season.
interesting that you'd be fine with it, Austin being it next year. I was going to say in 2 years.
I think Osland can make the jump next year. I don't think he gets the second line bid next year just because Cousins goes.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, that he
I think
makes
he
the
probably
team
gets
next
third
year.
line, and we sign
Yes,
somebody, and then
I agree.
I think that's normal.
Well,
I think that's how it's going to go because
and
I
then
don't see
McLeod
anybody
would probably
emerging this year.
would go down to fourth line, or do we let McLeod walk, or because I don't really want to let McLeod walk right now.
I mean, McLeod isn't really that great in the faceoff dot. He's more of like a middleman. You can play like a switch offense where you basically have somebody come in and take the faceoff, and then McLeod's on the wing, and then he just plays middle.
Oh, so maybe you could do Osland like next year. The third line could be like Osland, McLeod, and
Benson.
Kulich.
Zucker's gonna walk.
Well, I was gonna say Kulich because Benson would be on that second line with whoever our second
Quinn
C is, plus
Cousins probably.
Quinn/Cousins, Quinn or Cousins, whoever our second line center is. Hopefully not Cousins, and then Benson would be the second line.
Offense where Osland takes the faceoffs and then you swap him to the wing. Well, McLeod plays middle.
Yeah,
because
and then
it's just
I would like it. McLeod, Austin,
Kulich.
I mean, Kulich and Austin obviously have the chemistry.
A guy you see happen with that a lot is Braden Point. Braden Point does that all the time, and look how amazing he's been. So
exactly, because
that could work.
Yeah, because I mean, think about it. Kulich and Austin already have the chemistry last year in the AHL where they cooked together, and then that fourth line would be like a Greenway. Maybe we bring back Andre Kubel, and maybe we just keep Krebs there, and that could be like our fourth line.
Aubé-Kubel could be a decent piece to bring back, but I feel like Aubé-Kubel is only there to like fill a role if somebody gets injured. I think that Beck Malistine will be the guy that stays.
I think Aubé-Kubel is going to be on our third line when he plays. Like when he's practicing, they put him on the third line.
Oh, I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Well, actually, he'll probably move down to fourth line when Benson comes back because Benson's injured right now. They put Zucker up on the second line. Then it was Kulich.
I'm just saying in the offseason, you could ship Aubé-Kubel to get a pick back, and then Beck Malistine can be that rotational guy for next season. Because Aubé-Kubel, we don't need Aubé-Kubel if we bring up Austin.
At that point,
so trade him, get value for him, and then Malistine's the guy that comes in if somebody gets injured.
At that point, yeah, you're just kind of splitting hairs.
Right.
And that's also just off-season
As a GM, you have to do this stuff, though. As a GM,
I'm just saying not right now.
Right, exactly. But some other surprises, obviously, UPL. He has 5 starts, the 2 wins. He's got a 3.01 goal against average right now, which isn't too bad. It's decently up there, though.
He's been playing a lot better the last 2 weeks.
save percentage, which is decent. So
playing a lot better these last 2 games, which is important.
Oh, yeah. It'll be interesting to see what he does. I want to get your thoughts, though, before we wrap up here. Florida and then, the Detroit and then Florida games in that succession. Who do you think wins each one?
So I'm going to pick us to beat Detroit. I feel like we usually play pretty well against Detroit. I think our offense has been absolutely cooking lately. It's not like Detroit has great goaltenders. They have kind of been a little underwhelming also so far this year. Yeah, I'll pick the Sabres. I think their offense continues to fire. I think we finally get a power play goal. I'm calling it. I think Colin will finally be able to watch the Sabres again.
Yeah, right.
Because I put this like comment in an Instagram thing. It was like tiers of offense, and it had our offense as like the 3rd tier, and it just said meh. And I said if we could even have some remnants of a power play, our offense would be good or even great. Like our offense could be, if we get even some remnants of a power play, I think we could have a top 5 to 7 offense in this league. I truly, truly believe that. Right now, no, obviously because of how bad the power play is. Just saying because I think that first line's insane, and our third line's been cooking. I think the second line will pick it up. I think Cousins is kind of just like, I think it's like a confidence thing right now, for being honest. Can't even hit an empty net shot right now. I don't think that's because of skill. I think it's just because he's in his head. I think he'll eventually get out. And then against Florida, if I wasn't going to this game, I would pick Florida to win, but I'm never picking a team to lose or never picking a team to lose if I'm going to watch them. Why would I root for the team to like lose? I'm going to the game. I'm going to pick them to win. Like, I don't care. Even if Florida's the better team and Florida will most likely win this game. I'm picking the Sabres to win this game. We already beat them once. I don't care. It was without Barkov or without Bobrovsky or without Tkachuk. We're beating them again. We'll go 3-2 overtime win. Let's see some overtime hockey. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say Detroit. We win that game 3-2 in overtime. That's my 3-2 overtime win. I
I was
think
gonna
that
say
we
I don't
always
think
play really close.
I don't think I did a score prediction for Detroit. I'll say 4-2. I'll do 4-2. I think our offense cooks
4-2
again.
again. I think we win 3-2 in overtime. I think that Detroit keeps it close for the regulation period. They haven't
We
looked
both
that
got.
great.
Oh yeah,
They've gotten
my
down.
bad for interrupting again. But you didn't know we did get a score prediction right for Chicago. We got 4-2.
Oh yeah, I know we did. But
But yeah, I know you. That's what you told me. But I was just saying it on the pod.
oh right, I got you. But I have Buffalo winning 3-2 in overtime. I think it'll be a very good game. It's going to come back and forth. I think Buffalo's just on one of those hot streaks right now, so I have to lean with the hot hand. I do think Detroit will probably end up finishing a little bit better than us in the standings, especially after the additions they made in the offseason. It's going to be very
What do you
close.
mean? We're
It's
making the
going to come
playoffs. What
down.
do you mean? Oh, so
It's
you think
gonna.
Detroit's making the playoffs?
Yeah, right. I mean, I think Detroit could, but
You gotta trust
is so stacked.
when in
Though.
doubt. Trust that the Sabres are making the playoffs. They're eventually going to break the streak. We got to trust it's this year.
Yeah, maybe after 17 years, like the Bills. Who knows?
Shut up. Shut your mouth. Stop talking.
The next game I have is Florida versus Buffalo, and we're at home, and I understand that, but I have to lean with the Florida Panthers. They have Barkov and Tkachuk back. I think that Buffalo has been playing absolutely electric these last couple games. I think they'll come into this game with the utmost confidence to win this one. We're on that hot streak. We would be 4-1-1 if we beat the Detroit Red Wings. So I think this will be a very close game, but Florida ekes us out 5-3 with an empty net goal thrown in there. I think it's going to be 4-3 late in the game, and they end up with one last one. Bobrovsky hasn't looked like himself to start the season. That's why I have us scoring 3 goals. I think that this Florida Panthers team is finally going to start to put it together, and they do it against Buffalo on the road. They're going to get a comeback win this time around, and I think that they get the job done. 5-3. Hopefully I can go to the Florida Panthers game just for the simple fact that I have never watched any of my favorite teams, even high school, college, anything. Whenever I'm in attendance, the team I root for, the team that I want to win, is the team that's won every single time. I'm 11-0, so that is awesome.
I've just gone to way too many games for that to be possible. I've gone to between
fair.
Sabres and Bills over 100 games,
especially Sabres specifically. like
yeah,
not,
but I like throughout my entire.
Not because they're bad or worse or whatever, but because how are you going to win that many times? Like because they play 82 games, man.
Yeah, I've probably gone to 15 to 20 Sabres games, I would say, and I've probably gone to, I would say like 90 to 100 Bills games because I've had season tickets for like a decade now, and that's at least 8 games every year. Plus, I went to games.
We don't win every single home game.
Yeah. Plus, I've gone to games before I got season tickets. I've gone to I think 6 road games, 5-1 on road games, and a death, 5-1 and a death, and then also
5-1 right now because of Houston.
5-1, no 5-1 and a death.
Yeah, because of the Hamlin game.
Wait, or is it 4?
Either way,
no,
but
4-1.
We play the Islanders Friday, so we'll talk about that game in the latter week podcast. Other than that, though, do you have anything else you want to add?
Let's go Yankees.
I'm hoping for a nuke. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway,
I'm gonna nuke your house.
Yeah, please. So I don't have to watch this World Series between the team that beat my team and the team I hate the most.
I thought you said the Yankees are the team you hate the most.
They're not literally the team I hate the most. I hate the Phillies the most. I'm not going to lie. So watching us beat them in the playoffs was worth watching the Dodgers kick our ass. But at the same time, I don't like the Yankees because your guys' fan base is so toxic towards towards Met fans because, obviously.
Well, see, I don't see. I'm a Yankees and a Celtics fan. I don't really associate with much of the fan base. I just root for those teams. I associate with the Bills. I associate with Bills Mafia for sure, and I associate with the depression of being a Sabres fan. I definitely associate with those fan bases because, I live in Buffalo basically, but I don't associate. Yeah, Yankees and Celtics fans aren't the greatest fans, but I just love the team.
Yeah, no. But anyway, that will do it for this episode of the Sports Lab podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Please like and subscribe if you did enjoy this episode, and please just make sure to tune in every once in a while when you can. We do appreciate it. It's fun to do this. Obviously, we enjoy doing this every single week. We'll have another episode for you next Tuesday, most likely, I would assume. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more on the Sports Lab podcast. I'm Thomas Bailey. Alongside me, Alex Miley. and we'll see you guys next time.